thinking they have a breach academic calendar for them to really meet up and get students in again, maybe be able to raise or generate revenue and get students into the system. Therefore, the quality is being affected. There is nothing we cannot argue that. And if we continue with this trajectory, definitely the standard of education will continue to drop. There is no other way out.
Now, let me come to the question of, should JAMB even be given general cutoff marks? Do you think there is any need for that at this point anymore?
That JAMB determines the cutoff mark?
Yes, the general idea that JAMB should give, a general cutoff mark. Do you think that that practice has outlived its existence?
I think the system calls for that. In Nigeria, we have students from different geopolitical zones. And the standard of education in each geopolitical zone is not the same. When you come to the Southwest, we have students that will write JAMB and get very high scores. If you go to the Southeast or Southwest, we have students that will write JAMB and get very high marks. Go to the North, you find out that the maximum over there cannot be compared with what we have in the Southwest or in the Southeast. But because JAMB is the controlling body who determines how students enter into the university, the general cutoff mark is necessary. As you have said the other time, each institution will now determine what should be their own cutoff. In the North, some students will still score 150 or 100, 120. In the university, they will give them admission. In the Southwest, you cannot get such a situation. You cannot find that such a situation. And likewise in the Southeast. Therefore, by the time you are looking at it, JAMB is the umbrella body. Therefore, let them give the general cutoff. For us to really move out of this problem, each institution will continue to fix or maintain a standard that will enable them continue to grow that education in their own institution.
All right.
I think that's just it.
All right, Dr. Olasende, just one more quick question. You lecture in a polytechnic. Now,
yes,
there is this dichotomy between graduates from universities and graduates from polytechnics, even though the National Assembly has tried to douse that. But you have a situation where JAMB is saying if you score 140, then you're eligible to go to a university. If you score 120, then you can go to a polytechnic. If you score 100, you go to a college of education. Do you think this difference in marks, doesn't it further deepen the perception of the dichotomy between graduates from universities and graduates from polytechnics?
Yeah, I think there is a kind of politics of assault in the system.
Okay.
Yes, there's a kind of politics of assault in the system.
I'd like you to break that down.
Yeah, students graduate from secondary school, the same secondary school. They have the same 5 credits. They sit for the same JAMB examination. It's now a matter of choice. Students decide to go into the polytechnic. Students decide to go to the university. They are different level of education entirely. Therefore, if they now said one going to the university should go for 140, one going to Polytechnic for 120. That's where the policy somersault comes from. There should be another body if they want to do it. Let the NUC continue to manage those that will be going to the university. Let us have Polytechnic Commission that will be taking care of those who want to come to the Polytechnic. And let us have another commission, or we will have another commission for College of Education that will be taking care of those that will be going to colleges of education. Since they have the same academic background, there is no need for them to now start discriminating. The discrimination starts from this exam. And by the time students graduate, the discrimination continues. Even when you take up academic activities or you take up job in the Polytechnic as your colleague take up jobs in the university, the discrimination is still there. And that is where I said there is a kind of political a policy somersault in our educational policy in Nigeria. And until we are able to address this particular problem, we will not be able to fit the educational standard in Nigeria as it's supposed to be fixed. I think that's
but don't you also think that one of the reasons why we have this is a case where originally polytechnics were meant to deal with technical and vocational training, that it looks like polytechnics are now beginning to have almost the same sort of courses that you have in universities?
Yes, those who design the design of polytechnic education is different from the design of university education. Polytechnic education is supposed to be the technological hub for the development of any nation, while the university will train their students towards policy formulation. And by the time you don't even, let me put it straight, the failure of the government to really pursue that policy of technological advancement in the country brings about this problem of having different type of courses in the Polytechnic. They have abandoned the funding of the time government is funding education properly. The policy tries to focus on the technological advancement. But by the time government now withdraws from giving them money or funding, that's where each institution now start looking for how to generate revenue. And the core mandate is being abandoned.
I like that you've touched that particular angle, that it looks like the drive by polytechnics now is to stay afloat, and that is what has pushed them into having some courses that
could bring them that where they can really
which is not their strength.
Yeah.
Okay, for those who are just tuning in, I'm having a conversation with former chairman of the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, the Federal Polytechnic, Ado-Ekiti. Well, Dr. Olabisi Olasayinde. Dr. Olabisi Olasayinde, there is a plan by the House of Representatives to extend the validity of the JAMB results to 4 years. That is, you sit for one JAMB exam and that result is valid for 4 years. What are your thoughts on this particular move?
That cannot work in Nigeria.
Why?
And let me now tell you. Those students that were given admission in 2021-22 academic section, they are still at home. They have written another JAMB. And we don't know how these people want to now, where they want to enter into. Except you will now combine two sections for a particular admission. If you are now saying somebody who has who sit for JAM 4 years ago candidates have written JAM again, and they are waiting for admission now. And those are the ones they are now considering 140, 120, 110 for, or 100 for. You now want to say that somebody who had gotten 160 or 180 about 3 or 4 years ago will now bring it. Of course, there wouldn't be any record for such students in the institution. Even by the time you even choose an institution as your first choice, and you choose another institution as your second choice, the institution where you choose for the second choice, they won't have your record. They won't have your record. They only consider those that choose their institution as
first choice.
Therefore, how do you now want to bring somebody who has written down for the past 4 years to now present himself? The record would not be there. Therefore, that policy cannot work. They should just concentrate on how different commissions should be responsible for the admission in their own units or in their own institutions. I think that would solve most of these problems.
Do you think? What do you think of the school of thought that says that the UTME has outlived its existence and that admission should revert to what it used to be before the establishment of JAM, meaning that we should have a direct recruitment process by the universities, straight from the secondary schools?
Government at times they want to have uniformity in their educational standard. I think that's why we have this commission, this type of body that are put in the position of recruiting students into the universities and polytechnics. They want to maintain standards, but unfortunately, the standard is being destroyed. I think they should go back. In those days, when you write exam and you find out they tell you have not meet up with the cutoff marks, then you go back home and be preparing for the next exam. And maybe because they want students from the north to come to the south, students of the south to go to the north, students of the east to go to the west. Maybe
Who is part of the system? You're a lecturer. You have been in the system for a while. You've seen the strength and the flaws. What is the most critical thing that any government and people should do to fix education in Nigeria, the quality of education in Nigeria?
It's the responsibility of the government to fund education and bring up workable policies that will enable the standard of education to grow. When you look at government institutions and vis-a-vis private institutions, you will see the difference. The lecturers have been on trial under this mess.
Well, funding. And government doesn't seem to have the answers to that question around funding. But thank you very much, Dr. Olabisi Olasende. Thank you for your thoughts this morning.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Olabisi Olasende is a former chairman of the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics at the Federal Polytechnic Ado Ekiti. Well, now it is back to you. You have heard him speak. You have had some of the various issues raised. One including as the UTME outlived its existence. There is the question of the JAM scores. What does it portend? What's its implication for education, tertiary education in Nigeria? Then you have the dichotomy between universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. Do you think that it is fair by JAM to continue to create disparity in the cutoff marks? Don't you think that further heightens the perceived dichotomy that the government is trying so hard to bridge? The number to call is 0816 781 4132. 0816 781 4132, or you can call 0915 388 6590. 0915 388 6590, or you could go to our Facebook page at NewCruse 97 FM and drop a comment there. I would read that. Expecting your calls 0816 781 4132, 0816 781 4132, or 0915 388 6590, 0915 388 6590, or you can drop a comment on Facebook at NewCruse 927 FM. Tell us, what are your thoughts on the reduction in jam quote of max? What do you think about it? What implications? We've heard about the implications, but what do you think? Do you think it is something that JAM should have done? Was it something necessary that JAM should have done to reduce the cutoff max? What is the implication of all of this for education in Nigeria? I'd like to hear what you have to say. We have somebody on the line. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
This is Raphael from Ikere.
Mr. Raphael, good morning. Yes.
Yeah, the man has very well. As regards to cut off, he's giving us 140 for university.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Raphael, please endeavor to call back. The number to call is 0816 781 4132. 0816 781 4132. You can try that particular line, or you can try 0915 388 6590. 0915 388 6590. I like to also hear your experiences. Okay, you can also try 0811 800 2723. 0811 800 2723. For those who are finding it difficult with the other lines, 0811 800 2723. You can simply go to Facebook and drop your comments there. I like to hear if you wrote JAM this year, UTME this year. I also like to hear your experiences. Was it any difficult? Was it difficult than usual or the normal? What do you think about this cutoff mark? What's happening to the networks? What's happening? It's 11 800 2723. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Your name? I can hear you clearly, please. Speak loud.
My major concern is even to cut off marks for colleges of education in Nigeria.
Yes.
Giving college of education 100 as cut off marks, I think we want to address education in Nigeria, we must consider teachers first. They should sit at the driver's side. And if we are having 100 as a cutoff point, it means they are lesser And what do we expect of their standard? We want to raise the standard. We must raise the standard of teachers first. Their cut-off point should be equal to the university cut-off point as one coach if you want to address the situation. And besides this, value orientation should be considered. Nigerians are worshiping money now. Zero worshippers with little or no respect for academics. So we want to solve our problems. We must give them high esteem. That is our academics. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, even though I didn't get the name. What's the name? Oh, okay. I was unable to get the name there, but he made his comment. Real critical issue raised there about the quality of marks for those in the colleges of education. Hello, good morning.
This is Mr. Raphael calling back.
All right, Mr. Raphael, good to have you back.
Well, it's like our education system is progressing. 140 cut-off marks is so low, but I want to urge the jump to allow the each university to decide for themselves. Because in Southwest here, I doubt maybe we can see any university that can accept 140 as a cut-off mark. So the dichotomy between the university and the polytechnic, there is no way there will be no dichotomy between the two institutions. Because this is one of them now. This is one of it. 140 cut-off marks for university, maybe 100 for polytechnic. You know, there is a difference between the two. There is a quite difference. So, definitely, the dichotomy between the two will be happening. That's my submission. They should allow, JAMB officials should allow the universities to decide the number of marks that they will take from each candidate. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Raphael Motasha. Well, don't forget that this is just a general cut-off mark. I'm aware that universities, other institutions also have their own marks. Hello, good morning. What's the name? What's the name? The name. All right. Olatunji, go ahead.
This issue of funding polytechnics should be reconsidered. We want to limit polytechnics to the training of vocational skills, particularly entrepreneurship skills. If we allow them to forge for themselves, they may not be able to achieve our desired objectives. Our government should give them more funds so that they can concentrate on technological development and reduce unemployment. Once again.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, when people say education requires a lot of funding, they do not lie when they say education requires funding. But if you know that the crux of the strike actions that we've witnessed across universities in the last couple of years has been based on funding too. Government not being able to provide all the funding required for education in Nigeria. Hello, good morning. Hello. Good morning.
Mr. Sam.
All right, good morning. I can hear you. What's your name?
My name is Ben Lunge.
All right, Mr. Ben Lunge.
Oh.
Good to have you after a while. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I think if the government cannot fund the university effectively or all these higher institutions, I think the best thing to do is to go back to the status quo of allowing every institution to recruit students into their school so that they will be able to generate enough funds to take care of some of these problems, some of these agitations, ASU and other associations are making about.
Mr.
Then the standard that is going down is as a result of some of these problems. You can imagine somebody from the north who will not score up to 50 out of 400. They are admitted into a school. So how do you compare that person to somebody who scored 350? And they go to the same workplace when they finish school, and they pay the same salary. The whole situation is going down on daily basis. we should correct some of these things. Let these institutions set a standard for themselves and let them generate money out of it so that all these problems will go away and the incessant strikes will come to an end.
All right,
Mr.
Benloge, before you leave, you said if government cannot keep funding education, that the universities or the institutions should be allowed to recruit students themselves. Do you mean that? I like to get the point you're trying to make there.
But what I mean here is that the essence of admission is to get people into the school. But those students, they bring in money, they pay money for the form. Okay, how much is JAM remitting to each of these schools after the conduct of the examination? I don't know whether JAM gives the university money. The money goes to the federal government. Yes, the federal government will not be able to give money to each of these institutions. So what is the need?
But don't forget that.
I've been on strike for 6 months now.
But don't forget that these students pay less than 7,000 naira for JAM funds. How much of that do you think can be used to generate funds for the running of these institutions?
With what the government will give to them, they should be able to. As students are paying fees, and there are other ways by which the university will be able to generate money, so that they will be able to do at least few things in the university plus what the government will be able to give. The burden will not be only on the federal government.
All right, thank you very
much.
That's
what I mean.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Benloge. Hopefully, we would have time to to talk about funding, maybe with some of the administrators who have been there and who know what it takes to fund, to generate funds for institutions, higher institutions. Okay, let's pick this other call. Hello, good morning. Please turn down the volume on your radio set.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Your name?
Yes, but that's what I'm calling from. Okay?
All right, I'm about to go ahead.
Yeah, I want the issue of this cost of mark, being allocated to different institutions, categories of institutions. I want to say, personally, does not match standard of the country. We find that the standard of education in the country is going down. This one will worsen it, because I want to believe that this kind of mark being given to the institution is still part of intended failure of the government. Because how could the whole nation has been claimed to be growing, like Nigeria, giants of Africa, where educated students having this kind of education mark, it's going to affect the standard of the education in the country. Look, our government, when we look at it, the government presently, they are not ready to do anything serious. I have an analogy. If you believe that we have a country that the system of the aviation, the plane does not crash there, it's because we have good pilots. It's because the pilots there are good. Now, immediately just try somebody that is not trained and give him plane to fly. It's going to crash it. So I have that, I don't want to use our language, but presently, it seems people at the hands of affairs of education in this country, I don't believe in their capability, I don't believe in their, the way they handle the system. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. Well, a lot of blame for the government, but how much of blames should government really take as to what is happening to education in Nigeria? Well, on Facebook, I have this comment from Akomolafe Samike Ayodeji saying about the reduction of the cutoff mark, it's not really a good thing. I think some of the students want to read very well. Assuming someone couldn't get into university maybe last year because of 10 marks, which is about 170 now, Now that it has reduced, what will he or she think is affecting the system? To get money to run the university, the money paid goes where? Governments should let government, I'm not sure what you mean there, reduce what they collect and monitor where the rest of the money goes, and that can help. Well, thank you, Akumalafe, Samike, Ayodeji. Well, you can go to Facebook, drop your comments, and I will take that quickly with 590 or try 0811 800 2723 0811 800 2723. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning once again.
Yes, good morning.
I'm really interested in this topical issue.
What's your name? What's your name, please? Your name again, please. Oh, okay. Calling back. Thank you.
I humbly suggest that government try and cut wastages in the education system. There was a humble request for the establishment of Commission for Colleges of Education that has been approved, and there is another commission for polytechnics. We have another commission for the university. These are places. JAM should be assigned to handle all these commissions. Let us harmonize this across the city and divert the excesses into research work. This will be a great advantage. Once again, God bless you. NewCruse.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prince Olatunji, for your remarks. He's made several of them this morning. Well, we have just 2 minutes to go on the program this morning. I'll just see if we can take one or two more calls. It's 167814132. The JAM is the UTME is the exam required to admit students into higher institutions in the country, to regular programming of higher institutions in the country, universities, colleges of education, and polytechnics. We had a conversation with the former chairman of the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, Federal Polytechnic Ado-Ekiti, Dr. Olabisola Sende, and he just told us that it looks like the UTME may have outlived its existence. He also told us about the implication of the reduction in cutoff marks. It's just 140 for universities. Now, if you have 140, you can get into the university. I remember the times when JAMB used to be, the cutoff marks used to be 180, and even if you had 250, 260, you're still not guaranteed entry into admission into the university. So I'm wondering, how did things get so bad where JAM is reducing the cutoff marks to 140? So with 140, does it mean that if you have 160, 170, you would get an easy pass into the university system? So many questions there to ask. You also have the very low number of people that got 200 marks and above. 1.7 million wrote that exam. Less than 380,000 scored 200 and above. Well, in the absence of any more calls, well, we would leave this issue for another day. But, when we talk about the ASU strike, we must also pay attention to other issues around education in Nigeria: basic education, secondary school education, and also this part, JAMB, UTME, because all of this have its implications on the system generally. Well, my name is Samuel Olugbeminiyi. He said, as much as you do, never ignore the impact and the importance of education. Have a pleasant day, and as much as possible, like I always say, do what you can and do what you will to make Nigeria a better place. Bottom line, we're with